centralize voter registration and polling services from embassies to community accessible venues to facilitate wider participation. Also, within this particular motion, the resolution will be that the IBC rolls out civic education and voter sensitization campaigns within diaspora communities through digital and local engagement platforms, and also that IBC to operationalize the additional polling stations in time, that is before the next general election cycle, and monitor them for transparency, efficiency, and effectiveness. The House is about to commence this sitting. However, there is a quorum hitch. The prayer has been said and the chair taken. But as provided for in the House Standing Order, at least 15 senators should be present in the chambers for it to be deemed to have quorated. That is the majority leader or the leader of the majority party, Honorable Aaron Cheriot, trying to find out whether the House has attained a substantive number of members inside. More members, of course, making their way into the chambers. And in a short while, I believe we shall be able to correct. Those are more members making their way. So once the Speaker directs or indicates that the quorum has been raised, then we shall let you in on the proceedings of the Senate. Back to the motion regarding the need to establish or increase voter registration and polling centers in diaspora. The resolution from the Senate will be also that the National Treasury, all right, let's listen in.
Clerk, kindly proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 232(1)B, I hereby present a petition that has been submitted through the clerk by Mr. Tom Boya Ochieng concerning forced disappearances of young fishermen. As you're aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, "Every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including to enact, amend, or repeat any legislation." The salient issues raised in the said petition are as follows. 1, that the petitioner is the Chief Executive Officer of GapLink International, GLI, a non-profit making organization registered in Kenya in 2008. The organization helps marginalized communities overcome their socio-economic challenges through enhancing their capacities to demand and advocate for democratic governance, accountable and transparent leadership, prudence and equity in resource management, appropriate response to needs of special population, and peaceful coexistence, security, and humanity. That Lake Nakuru, renowned for its breathtaking beauty and rich biodiversity, has also become a crucial resource for the local communities, particularly young men engaged in fishing activities. that alarming reports of forced disappearances and torture indicate a disturbing pattern of disappearances among fishermen. That, as documented by local sources, including media and human rights organizations, there is an overwhelming number of cases of forced disappearances around Lake Nakuru. Notably, among them is the case of Brian Odhiambo, a young fisherman who vanished under mysterious circumstances after reportedly encountering KWS officers. This situation has ignited fear and anger within the community, as many community members believe his case is not an isolated incident. Numerous similar accounts have occurred, revealing a troubling pattern of intimidation and violence against the individuals who depend on fishing for their livelihoods. These acts include threats, physical abuse, and in some instances, sexual violence, all of which have created an atmosphere of fear and insecurity within the community. That the petitioner has made efforts to have the matter addressed by the CIO, IPOA, ODPP, Minister of Wildlife and Tourism, but the response has been unsatisfactory, and that none of these issues raised in the petition are pending before any court of law, legal or constitutional body. Consequently, the petitioner prays that the Senate intervenes and investigates the matter with a view to making a recommendation on 1, forced disappearances with particular attention to involvement of KWS officers in these incidents. 2, the promotion of community engagement by fostering dialogue among KWS, local fishermen, and other stakeholders to resolve disputes related to fishing rights and practices while prioritizing the protection of human rights. And finally, the review of KWS policies and operational protocols to prevent abuse of power and promote accountability. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 238-1, I commit the petition to the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations for its consideration. In terms of Standing Order 238-2, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading the prayer to table its report in the Senate for consideration. The Senate shall thereafter consider and adopt the report of the committee. I thank you. Next order. I have another petition to present. I hereby report to the Senate that a petition has been submitted through the clerk by Mr. Titus Thukunjoroge concerning the alleged dismissal by the African Inland Church of Kenya and payment of arrears. As you are aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, "Every person has the right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including enacting, amending, or repealing any legislation." Honorable Senators, the salient issues raised in the petition are as follows. 1, that Mr. Titus Thukunjoroge was employed by AIC Kenya through a signed contract between himself and the Central Church Council Bishop, who endorsed and confirmed his position as permanent and pensionable. That although his permanent employment status entitled him to a house and traveling allowances, Mr. Njoroge did not receive those benefits throughout his service. That from October 2024 to April 2025, Mr. Titus Thukunjoroge did not receive his salary and allowances despite undertaking his duties. Upon raising the issue with his employer, he was informed that he had been employed on contract terms for a period of 2 years and that he had been replaced by another employee without prior notification or due process. That the petitioner made several attempts to resolve the concerns presented in this petition with his employer, the Minister of Labor and Social Protection, State Department for Labor and Skill Development, department, all of which have been unsuccessful. None of the issues raised in the petition are pending before any court of law, constitutional or legal body. Consequently, the petitioner prays that the Senate intervenes in the matter with a view to do the following. 1, making recommendations on compensations to Mr. Njoroge, and 2, making any other recommendation necessary in the circumstances. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 238-1, the petition is hereby committed to the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare for consideration. And in terms of Standing Order 238-2, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading this prayer, table its report to the Senate for consideration. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 9th of July 2025. The annual report of the Parliamentary Service Commission for financial year 2023-2024, the graphic health warnings for tobacco products, legal notice number 1 of 7 of 2025, the county government's budget implementation review report for the first 6 months for financial year 2024-2025, biannual report of the Commission on Administrative Justice for period July to December 2024, and the county licensing uniform procedures regulation, legal notice number 91 of 2024. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Health.
Okay. Yes. And you are the vice chair. I thought you were vice chair for trade.
Okay, let me do it on behalf of the Health Committee. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate. Today, the 9th of July 2025, this is a report of the Standing Committee on Health on its consideration of Community Health Promoters Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2022. On behalf of the Chairperson, Standing Committee on Health.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 9th of July 2025. The report of the Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism on its consideration of the Startup Bill, that is Senate Bills number 14 of 2022. On behalf of the Chair, Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism. Thank you.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare.
The report on petition concerning the failure by Kenya Breweries Limited, Kaplan and Stratton Advocates and Harrison Kinyanjui.
Senator Morgo, when you're laying a paper on the table, you need to be at the dispatch.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 9th July 2025. So I beg to lay.
What exactly are you laying, Senator Murgu?
Report on the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on its consideration of reports amendment number 2, Bill, Senate Bill number 45 of 2024. Report on the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on petition to the Senate by Mr. Lawrence Ndutu on behalf of 125 other former employees of Kenya Breweries Limited concerning failure by the Kenya Breweries Limited, Kaplan and Stratton Advocates and Harrison Kinyanjui Advocates to pay compensation awarded to the petitioners. I beg to lay.
Senator Catherine Muma. That is dropped. Senator Jackson Mandago. That also is dropped. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion that the Senate adopts the report on Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on petition to the Senate by Mr. Lawrence Ndutu on behalf of 125 other former employees of Kenya Breweries Limited concerning the failure by the Kenya Breweries Limited, Kaplan and Stratton Advocates and Harrison Kinyanjui Advocates to pay compensation awarded to the petitioners laid on the table of Senate on Wednesday, 9th July 2025. So I beg to lay.
Senator Richard Onyonka. The business is dropped. Senator Karen Nyamu. The business is dropped. Senator Catherine Muma. The business is dropped. Senator Jackson Mandago. The business is dropped. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Statement pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. Senator for Kitui County, the Honorable Enoch Wambua.
I thank you, the Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the welfare of teachers serving in ASAL and other hard-to-serve areas in Kitui County. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kitui County is predominantly an arid region. However, a significant number of teachers in the county do not benefit from the special allowances and considerations provided by the Teacher Service Commission for those serving in the arid and semi-arid lands and other hard-to-serve areas. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, which wards in Kitui County are designated by the government as ASAL and hard-to-serve areas? 2, the criteria used by the government to designate areas as ASAL and hard-to-serve areas, the number of teachers in Kitui County currently benefiting from
the ASAL and Add to Serve Areas Allowance Scheme and the number of those who don't benefit from this scheme. And finally, the plans in place by the Teacher Service Commission to ensure that all deserving teachers in Kitui County benefit from the arid and semi-arid lands and hard to serve allowance scheme. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Samburu County, the Honorable Dr. Lelegwe. That statement is dropped. The Senator from Busia County, the Honorable Omtata.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for the opportunity. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53(1) to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industrialization on a matter of national concern regarding the move by the government to grant the Business Bay Square Mall in Eastleigh approval to import 500,000 metric tons of rice into the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, this development has raised concern about the impact of this decision on local rice farmers, the transparency of the quota allocation process, and the apparent bypassing of established regulatory institutions such as the Agriculture and Food Authority, brackets AFA, which under the Crops Act is mandated to oversee decisions related to food crop imports. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1. The criteria and policy justification used by the government to allocate the rice importation quota to Business Bay Square Mall, including whether the process was competitive and aligned with legal and regulatory frameworks such as the Crops Act and the Food Crops Regulations of 2019. 2. The role played by the Ministry of Trade in this importation and why the Ministry of Agriculture and the Agriculture and Food Authority, brackets AFA, were not consulted in a matter that falls under their regulatory mandate. 3. Assessment by AFA on the current domestic production and consumption levels of rice and whether a deficit existed to warrant this large-scale importation, especially in light of reports indicating that more than 5,000 metric tons of rice remain uncollected at the Mwea Rice Growers Multipurpose Cooperative Society. The measures in place to cushion local rice farmers from the adverse effects of such imports, including the budgetary provisions referred to by the Director General of AFA to procure excess rice from local cooperatives, and how this aligns with Kenya's agricultural policy priorities under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, in brackets, better. 5. Impact of rice imports on local market prices and outline strategies being implemented to balance food affordability for consumers while safeguarding the competitiveness and sustainability of local rice production. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator for Kisumu County, the Honorable Professor Tom Ojanda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53(1) to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the demolitions that are being carried out in Korando, Tiengre, and other parts of Kisumu County, allegedly to pave way for road expansion. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, this committee should address the following. 1, the legal authority under which the ongoing demolitions in Korando, Tiengre, and other areas of Kisumu County are being conducted. 2, whether the affected residents were issued any form of notice before the demolitions and whether there was any public participation or stakeholder engagement in accordance with the Constitution and relevant legal frameworks. 3, the status of land on which the demolitions are taking place, specifically whether the affected properties are situated in public, private, or community land. 4, the existence of any compensation or resettlement plans for residents whose homes or properties have been demolished. And lastly, the entities or agencies involved in executing the demolitions and whether they are acting under formal directive or legal mandate. Mr. Speaker, my second statement is on the state of health facilities in Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the state of health facilities in Kisumu County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, address the state of all public health facilities in Kisumu County, including their level of functionality, staffing, and service availability. 2, whether there are any stalled projects, including those under construction or renovation, stating the reasons for the delays and plans in place to equip these facilities. 3, the efforts by the county government of Kisumu to improve healthcare infrastructure and staffing and to ensure the availability of essential medicines, laboratory services, and emergency care in major county hospitals and health centers. And lastly, where the county government has entered into any partnerships with any development partners to strengthen the county's health system. Mr. Speaker, my third statement is on the role of county governments in national economic planning. Mr. Speaker, these are statements requested under Standing Order 53-1 from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on a matter of national concern regarding the role of county governments in the formulation and implementation of national economic planning framework. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the framework currently in place to ensure that county integrated development plans, CIDPs, inform and or align with the national government's medium-term plan, the MTP, and overall development priorities outlined in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, BETTER, and Vision 2030 in general. 2, how the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, IBEC, and the National Treasury and Economic Planning ensure that national government's fiscal and economic policies reflect the needs of counties. 3, whether there are plans to strengthen the existing intergovernmental frameworks to institutionalize participation of county governments in national economic policy formulation consistent with the provision of Articles 6, 10, and 174 of the Constitution, and if so, obtain information on such plans. Mr. Speaker, my last statement is on access to and quality of education in the marginalized counties under the competency-based curriculum, CBC. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education on a matter of national concern, namely the implementation, access to, and quality of education under the competency-based curriculum, CBC, in marginalized counties. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the progress made in rolling out the curriculum-based program, CBC, in marginalized regions, including adequacy of infrastructure and the availability of learning materials tailored to CBC requirements. 2, the challenges faced by schools in marginalized counties in effectively implementing the CBC, including issues relating to teacher preparedness and community awareness. 3, the interventions by the national government and county administration to train and support teachers in delivering CBC in marginalized areas. 4, measures put in place by the State Department for basic education to ensure equitable access to CBC for all learners, with specific focus on girls, children with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups. And lastly, the strategies established to monitor and evaluate the quality and impact of CBC in marginalized counties to inform policy and guide resource allocation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Eddy for and on behalf of Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I rise to request for statement on behalf of the Senator for Nairobi, Senator Edwin Sifuna. And this is a statement, a request for statement on lack of electricity access in parts of Nairobi City County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Energy on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the continued lack of access to electricity in various neighborhoods across Nairobi City County. Mr. Speaker, sir, several areas across Nairobi continue to suffer from power deprivation, either due to prolonged disconnection, non-existence infrastructure, or unexpected neglect. This situation has led to increased insecurity, stifled economic activity, and deepened inequality in places that include Hospital Ward in Mathare constituency, which has been without electricity for over 4 years. 2, Majengo Gorofani in Kamukunji constituency, which has been in darkness for 2.5 years, yet residents still receive Kenya Power bills. 3, Korogosho Ward in Roraka constituency, where, Mr. Speaker, the entire villages such as Gomongo, Ngunyunu, Gitathuru, Iridge, Grogon A, and Grogon B, Korogosho A, Korogosho B, and Nyayo remain unconnected. 3, Reri Gateway, Simba Cool Zone, and Bantu Zone in Kwaruben Ward of Embakasi South, which continue to live without any access to electricity. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, in this statement, the committee should address the following: the plans in place by the Kenya Power to reconnect electricity to Hospital Ward in Mathare constituency, which has been without power for 4 years. 2, the current status and timeline for reconnecting Majengo Gorofani in Kamukunji constituency, where residents have lived in darkness for 2.5 years, yet they continue to be billed. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, whether there are concrete plans by Kenya Power to connect the unserved villages in Gorogosho Ward, that is Gomongo, Ngunyunu, Gitadhuru, Highbridge, Grogan A, and Grogan B, Gorogosho A, and Gorogosho B, and Nyayo, and the areas of Reri Gateway, Simba Cool Zone, and Bantu Zone in Kwaruben Ward, Embakasi. The Senator for Nairobi, Senator Edwin Sifuna. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Haji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52-1 to make a statement on a matter of general topical concern, namely the outstanding performance by Faith Kipyegon and Beatrice Chebet at the Eugene Diamond League 2025 Prefontaine Classic held on 5th July 2025 in Eugene, Oregon, USA. Mr. Speaker, can I be protected?
Order, honorable senators. May Senator Haji be heard in silence, please. Proceed, honorable senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, Faith Kipyegon's victory in athletics is rooted in humility and determination. Born on 10th January 1994 as the 8th of 9 children to a modest family in Bomet County, she ran barefoot to school and began athletics at the age of 14. After excelling in a physical education PE race, even before owning her first spikes. Her early triumphs include edging out older rivals to claim gold at both the 2011 and 2013 World Cross Country Juniors. and clinching the 1,500-meter titles at the 2011 World Youth and 2012 World Junior Championships. Mr. Speaker, sir, as a senior, her track record over the years speaks volumes. 3-time Olympic champion in the 1,500 meters, Rio 2016, Tokyo 2020, and Paris 2024. 3-time world champion, London 2017, Eugene 2022, and Budapest 2023. Diamond League champion on multiple occasions, including memorable wins in Monaco, Brussels, and Paris. And 2023 world record treble, breaking world records in 1,500 meters, 5,000 meters, and the mile within just 2 months. Mr. Speaker, sir, reflecting on her record-breaking run at the Florence Diamond League, Kipyegon spoke warmly of the role competition played, noting how her rivals stayed with her in the chase. And I quote, Mr. Speaker, sir, Senator Cherargei is making too much noise. Reflecting on her record-breaking run at the Florence Diamond League, Kipyegon spoke warmly of the role competition played, noting how her rivals stayed with her in the chase. To be honest, she says, and I quote, "To be honest, the ladies were pushing me in the race, and that is what I wanted to motivate the younger generation to come and do even better," she said, moved by the sight of competitors gathering to cheer her on as she came around for her lap of honor. During the Eugene Diamond League 2025, in the women's 1,500 meters, Faith Kipyegon delivered a phenomenal performance by clocking an astonishing time of 3 minutes, 48.68 seconds, thereby breaking her previous record of 3 minutes, 49.04 seconds set during the Paris Diamond League in July 2023. This breathtaking feat reaffirms her dominance and relentless pursuit of excellence in middle distance running. What makes this achievement even more remarkable is that it comes just 9 days after she narrowly missed becoming the first woman in history to run a mile under 4 minutes, a feat she has long pursued and which remains within her grasp. But she still managed to achieve to run the fastest mile in history by any woman. On the same evening, Mr. Speaker, sir, Beatrice Chebet demonstrated sheer brilliance and tactical mastery to claim victory in the women's 5,000 meters. This was not just a win, but a historic achievement as she broke the world record, clocking an impressive 13 minutes, 58 seconds, 58.06 seconds, shaving more than 2 seconds off the previous record set by Ethiopia's Gudaf Segei in Eugene, Oregon in 2022. This made her the first woman in history to run the 5,000 meters under 14 minutes. Chebet's performance was described as a display of sheer brilliance and tactical mastery, as she led from start to finish, maintaining a blistering pace throughout the race. Mr. Speaker, sir, Faith Kipyegon and Beatrice Chebet, two friends who embody the very best of Kenyan talent, combining discipline, resilience, and unmatched skill. Their success in Eugene, Oregon reminds us all of the immense potential that lies within our nation when talent is nurtured and supported. These two remarkable athletes have once again lifted the Kenyan flag high on the global stage. Their achievements are a testament to Kenya's enduring legacy in athletics and serves as a powerful source of inspiration for the youth across the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, on my behalf, and on behalf of the Senate and the people of Kenya, I extend a heartfelt congratulations to Faith Kipyegon and Beatrice Chebet for their incredible victories. We celebrate them not only as champions of the track, but as role models for the entire nation. May they continue to shine and inspire future generations as they prepare for more global competitions. I thank you.
Now, honorable senators, will come back to this order for purposes of getting comments from honorable senators. But for now, pursuant to Standing Order 45-2, allow me, for the convenience of the House, to rearrange today's order paper We will now move to order number 8, number 9, and number 8, then number 9, and number 10. Then we come back for comments. Clerk, you may proceed to call those orders.
Order number 8, the Seeds and Plant Varieties Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 4 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Seeds and Plant Varieties Act to introduce a standards-based seed registration system to facilitate timely approval of the seeds varieties and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2025, second reading, division.
Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the division bell for 1 minute. No, it's ringing. Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the division bell for further 3 minutes.
Well, the senators are about to go into division regarding the Social Protection Bill. This is a bill originating from the National Assembly. The Social Protection Bill number 12 of 2025, a bill that is co-sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader, Honorable Aaron Cheruiyot. This is a bill that is at its second reading stage, and the vote that they will be taking is that the bill be read a second time for it to be able to proceed into the next stage, that is it being considered at the Committee of the Whole. And this is a bill that seeks to reduce poverty and vulnerability and improve the well-being of people by providing assistance, services and programs that build human capital, as well as cushion people against risks and contingencies throughout their life cycles. The bill provides for the establishment of the National Board for Social Protection. You will recall that there are already a number of programs that are targeting to reduce poverty and vulnerability among the citizenry of Kenya. However, this is a bill that proposes the establishment of a National Board for Social Protection. And in that particular board, their functions and composition will be defined, the powers that they will be possessing, as well as its source of funds. Some of the functions of the board will include advising the Cabinet Secretary on matters relating to social protection, designing and implementing social protection interventions, as well as programs, also providing social assistance and social care to the vulnerable persons in the society, also coordinating social protection interventions, establishing and maintaining a social protection registry, among other mandates, as will be defined within their functions or their powers. The 3-minute division bell has ended. The House has attained the quorum for the vote to be taken. As we can see that the clerk is trying to ascertain whether the number is present. If the number is present, then they will go ahead into the division process. We shall be waiting to be guided by the House, but this is a bill that also touches on the counties and therefore has been forwarded to the Senate for consideration. Debate already took place conclusively or comprehensively on the floor of the House. So the voting is for it to be read a second time and move into the next stage. The next stage, that is where, in case the members have any amendments into the bill, then they will be able to consider those amendments, proposals, and then they will also be shared back to the National Assembly for consideration. So we shall be waiting to see if the quorum is present for the division to take place. Then that would, without any further delay, continue. This is a bill that provides for the administration of social protection benefits as well. And it also outlines the categories of persons who may be granted social protection benefits, the types of social protection benefits offered under the Act, the eligibility criteria, as well as the procedure for applying for the benefits. It also provides for the reviews and appeals against the decisions of the board, the rights and obligations of beneficiaries, the consequences of abusing social protection benefits, and the circumstances under which social protection benefits may be terminated or refunds made to the board. Also provides for the review of social protection benefits, the indexation of social protection benefits, and the establishment of a social protection registry. This is a bill that is on the floor of the Senate, a bill that seeks to reduce the poverty and vulnerability of persons in the society and improve their well-being by providing assistance, services and programs that build human capital and cushion people against risks and contingencies throughout their life cycle. There are already programs. However, in this particular bill, there is a proposal for the establishment of a national board for social protection. It will be defining the mandate that the board will be taking, its composition, and the powers and the sources of funds as well, so that as they carry out the mandate that is bestowed on them, then accountability and transparency shall be adhered to regarding that. The bill also provides for offences, and in the offences created under the bill, this bill include the prohibition of obstructions, the prohibition of persons from giving false information, as well as unlawful disclosure of information. All right, let's listen in.
For order number 9, we will move to order number 10, and thereafter maybe come back to order number 9. Clerk, proceed to call that order.
Order number 10, Committee of the Whole, the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2023, consideration of His Excellency the President's recommendations.
Honorable Senators, it's good to be attentive. Senator Shakila.
Honorable Senators, we are in the Committee of the Whole, the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2023. President's recommendation on clause 2, Clerk.
President's recommendation on clause 2.
I propose the question that the President's recommendation on clause 2 be approved. Chairperson Jelak.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. I wish to move that the recommendation is approved as provided for in the order paper. And generally, Mr. Chairman, this is as regards what we term as undeclared assets, which has ably been run through in the order paper.
I put the question that the President's recommendation on clause 2 be approved. Division at the end.
President's recommendation on clause 5.
Senator Cherargei, I've already put the question. Cherargei, I've already put the question. It is allowed, but you should have. Senator Cherargei, can you make your sentiments known in the next, when I put the question on the next clause? Yes.
President's recommendation on clause 5.
I propose the question that the President's recommendation on clause 5 be approved. Chairperson.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the President's recommendation be approved as proposed. And specifically, Mr. Chairman, this is a definition as regards the reporting authority. And the committee indeed did approve that the reporting authority be deleted so that we retain that it is only one that the law provides, that is the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, on these clauses, on the clause, can the mover sit? Mr. Speaker, can the mover sit as I speak? Is violating standing orders where you cannot see me. So, Speaker, mine is a comment on the issue of affinity. You know the definition of affinity. I have seen that relative means a person who is related to a public officer by birth, marriage, adoption, or affinity. Mr. Speaker, I think we should drop the word affinity because the definition of affinity in English language, the Oxford Dictionary, means the liking of a person. So does it mean if I've been your friend for some time and I have close affinity, then it is defined as a relative? Mr. Speaker, I find it would have been consanguinity affinity, as in closeness by blood, as my learned colleagues would define. Mr. Speaker. So I think on this memorandum, it should only stop at adoption, because the moment you add affinity, it changes meaning. It means somebody you are affinity to as a friend, be it a male or a female, or somebody you banter with, or somebody you work with. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this one is on the issue of ethics report. I think that definition should be ethics and anti-corruption. If the definition comes out as ethics only, then we can equate to the Ethics Commission. But it should be Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. So on the issue of affinity, Mr. Speaker, and then, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of undeclared asset, the manner that has been proposed. Mr. Speaker, let me reserve those to clause number 6 so that I can make that comment at that point. So on this issue of affinity, we must drop it, Mr. Speaker, because it is unfair. It will, Mr. Speaker, in fact, in conclusion, it will undermine freedom of association as provided by the Constitution. Because affinity allows friendships. It allows acquaintances, Mr. Speaker. So if you say we cannot, if a public officer is found to have committed an economic crime, Mr. Speaker, it means those people close to him, associates, which is not properly defined by law, can run into problems, therefore undermining the principle and the freedom of association as per the Constitution. So in it is a nullity, so to speak. It's a nullity. And I hope the chairperson of JLAC is listening this keenly. It is dangerous because the moment we come for you, God forbid, for Senator Haji over an economic crime, it means friends like Cherargei can be in trouble. So, Speaker, we must drop this for the interest and for not undermining freedom of association within the setup. And we also, you know, families, Mr. Speaker, are so huge in African setup. In fact, I have many cousins that the last time I saw them was years and years. So, Mr. Speaker, that is only my worry. On the issue of undeclared assets, I will come back on clause number 6. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the indulgence.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you. Is it on? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am very alive to the fact that overriding a presidential memorandum is an uphill task as per the Constitution, but we must go on record so that maybe if matters go to court, the intention of the legislature can be interpreted from the record by the lawyers who will be there. And the worry here about the affinity definition, it is so wide, so that a person who wants to enforce, and here I'm looking at the EACC, they are the enforcing authority. If they are going to define relative to mean a person who is related to the public officer by birth, by marriage, adoption, or affinity. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the first three, there is no discussion about it. But when you come to the fourth one, affinity, it is so loose that somebody can actually use that to harm people or to just destroy somebody. It means that when they're enforcing anything against a public officer, they can go for any person, really any person, whom they think they have some form of affinity or association. This means every friend that you stay with, every person you play basketball with, any person you go to church with, even your church members, even every place, literally, the members of your social welfare group. Mr. Speaker, I think this word, there's a problem here, and the intention cannot be to expose people to this extent, and it's obviously in conflict with the freedom of association article in the Constitution, which means even if it passes here, somebody should pick it, and we go and remove this word through the courts, because this is wrong. I don't know what the thinking was here. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Osotsi.
Mr. Speaker, just like Senator Mungatana said, actually overriding a presidential referral is an uphill task, because it requires 2/3 members of this House to change that. But I think it should go on record that there is an ambiguity in this definition for a relative, particularly the word affinity. What is affinity? It's ambiguous. Mr. Speaker, you can have an affinity to many, even in this House. between you and me, we have some affinity because we are senators. So if I commit a crime, you will be arrested, Mr. Speaker, because of me. I think this word will be used for political persecution. Because, for example, we are in political parties. We are put in that political party through some affinity. So, if I commit a crime, or my party leader, or my deputy party leader, or my SG, they will come for me. So, Mr. Speaker, we must clearly indicate that as legislators, we have a problem with this word affinity. And I know at this point we can't do much about it because we need 2/3 of members of this House to override that. But it must go on record that this House was uncomfortable with the definition of the word relative. And Mr. Speaker, this foreign legislation, which are forced on us, is what is creating problems in this country. Even now, we are talking about Gen Zs and all that, too much freedom. It's because we adopted a constitution that this country was not ready for. And that's why we're having problems. This piece of legislation, Mr. Speaker, is going to cause problems in this country. Because it is going to be used for political persecution, is going to be used to intimidate people. Today I will be in government, tomorrow I'm not in government. They will come for me, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to register my disapproval of the definition of the word relative. And it should go on record that on this particular day, this House, members of this House were in agreement that this definition is vague and something has to be done. Even if the bill is passed, we must amend it to make it, remove that ambiguity, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't support that definition.
Senator Esther Okinyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wish to join my colleagues to express displeasure, especially in the definitions, lack of clear definitions, especially for family, relative, and affinity. Because, Mr. Speaker, in as much as we want to curb loopholes in the public sector, if you do not clearly state whom you're targeting here, we might end up exposing even people who are very innocent, so long as they associate with us to this proposal, Chair. So I feel as a Senate, we need to keenly look at this, either by providing an alternative way of defining who is family to you, who is a relative, and affinity, who are these who are close to you that we want to target, Chair. So if we don't clearly define those three, we might actually expose very innocent people to some of the issues we are trying to curb, Chair. Thank you.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I want to join my colleagues on this matter of definition of affinity and the general definition of a relative and family, Honorable Speaker, Chair. The definition of family here, the spouse, dependent child or parent of a public officer, a dependent child of the spouse of a public officer, or a parent of the spouse of a public officer. Relative means a person who is related to a public officer by birth, marriage, adoption, or affinity. Chair, even relationship by birth should even be made very clear. Because in the African context of relationship by birth, my cousin brother, whose father is brother to my father, in the African context, is defined as being people related on one bloodline. Chair, I really don't understand what this bill wants to address. Just as Senator Cherargei said,
we have so many relatives who we are even related by blood, but we don't know what they do for their everyday living. Is this bill telling us then that we as public officers should declare all our relatives, and the government should meet their daily subsistence needs, because as soon as this bill passes, or this memorandum passes, it means those people might end up stopping what they have been doing for their daily livelihood, and they will be then dependent on the public officer. Is the government ready to provide subsistence? This thing of affinity, Chair, should actually be deleted. And we should even give a new definition. It should actually stop at an adopted, where we have adoption. This affinity is so wide that it will be open to abuse, Chair. And because some of these institutions, we cannot say they are immune to being politically weaponized, we should make our definitions very accurate. I have a problem also on the undeclared assets means and any asset that is not disclosed in the prescribed manner. Chair, if I've declared an asset and probably in the sentences I've missed one or two letters or missed this, if you go down in that bill, it means that this asset should be forfeited. I think the law should be providing an opportunity for further details, for further inquiry. But for you to just say that because you missed, probably you missed, you are declaring your land and you have said block 13/1671 instead of stroke 1617, then you forfeit that asset because you have not declared it in a prescribed manner. Chair, that will be a problem. We cannot and we should not allow this house to be used by financial institutions that want to make it difficult for Kenyans to do business, that wants to make it difficult for the economy of this country to grow so that we continue borrowing from them by passing legislations and amendments such as this, Chair. So I wanted to go on record on that, that we need as a house to look at that definition and leave the word affinity, and even the undeclared assets, what means any asset that is not disclosed, Chair, that should be dropped completely. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Senators, yes, I see that there is a lot of interest in making comments on this clause. I'm afraid that we might, because after 5 senators have spoken, it will just be repetition. Can we go to the next clause and then we give you an opportunity? Are you going to repeat anything that has already been said? Senator Ojenda?
Chair, I know, and yes, I know that some of these amendments are extraneously driven, and the intention as expressed by Senator Mandago is we'll have the result of stifling business, stifling development, and I want senators to open their eyes. The public officers in question, Chair, are not senators or members of parliament. Contemplate a public officer as a chief or a primary school teacher with many relatives in the village. And that public officer, Chair, is supplying maize to a school or to a government office in the village. Now, Chair, most Africans do not even know who their relatives are because we have extended relatives. So that definition is problematic because at times we cannot even define who our relatives are. And then lastly, I just want to, this is with a perspective, agree with Mandago. On the undisclosed assets or unnamed assets, either by error, perhaps negligence, or out of lack of valuation, you will lose an asset. Yeah, this is a serious thing. Senator Osot's concern is about the threshold, but we have a problem here, Chair. The only way to make sure this does not pass is by denying ML quorum and walking out. Then now this will not pass.
Senator Professor Ojienda, I was really looking forward to your ingenious submission, which I actually missed. Senator Abbas, I hope you are not going to repeat what has already been said.
No, I'm not going to say that. Honorable Speaker, I think by nature nobody commits offense as proxy on behalf of somebody else, unless it's something somebody hired or these things. But in terms of, this, we have all our adults, and they carry their own crosses. So whatever your brother who don't even know where he is, maybe he could be in the other world of the world, you could be somewhere else, it commits, then you cannot take responsibility for it, or your relative. So I oppose the amendment.
Senator Navindu.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. And because I don't want to repeat what others have said, I'll just comment on that. And Chair, I wish, ML, can I borrow the ears of the Chair, please? Chair, I will not repeat what others have said, but this amendment, the way it is, it will cause a lot of problems to many others. And I'll read a scripture in the Bible. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 18 and verse 20, highlights that the mistakes of a father will never be condemned to a child. So this is not right. Because if anyone does wrong, they should carry their own cross, but not any relative, not any child, not any affiliation, as in the definition of affinity. This is quite wrong. It's not biblical, and it is not good for anyone. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Mohamed Faki.
Mwenyekiti, mimi pia natoa kauli yangu kupinga kipengee hichi kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, nilinde na commissioner hapa
na kusikiza
ambaye ni senior counsel na Ojienda pia ni senior counsel. Mheshimiwa Speaker anasema kwa kipengee hichi ni kinyume na hata maadili ya Kiafrika. Kwa sababu Kiafrika tunaishi kama jamii moja. Kwa hivyo kwa mfano mimi ni senator, lakini mtoto wangu ameajiriwa na ofisi ya ODPP. Kwa hivyo yeye inawezekana kutokea shida katika ofisi yake, nilaumiwe mimi ambaye ni senator, ambaye niko kivyangu na ninafanya kazi zangu tofauti na yeye. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Speaker, hii sheria yapinga maadili ya Kiafrika na vile vile ni kinyume na katiba, kwa sababu huwezi kumnyonga mtu au kumnyang'anya mali yake bila ya kumpa nafasi ya kujieleza kisheria. Kwa hivyo twapinga kipengee hichi na tuomba kiondolewe mara moja katika hiyo memorandum ambayo rais ameleta kuhusiana na hiyo sheria ya maadili. Asante Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Thank you, Senators. We shall proceed. I put the question that the President's recommendation, Clause 5, be approved, division at the end. Next.
President's recommendation on Clause 6.
I propose the question that the President's recommendation, Clause 6, be approved. Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Chairman. in the course of the committee's consideration of the recommendation or reservations under Clause 6, the committee indeed observed and agreed with the proposals that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission be given the sole mandate to implement this particular act once it's passed, and the further recommendation that the committee made is in concurrence is that the reservations on this particular clause will need the strengthening of the technical and budgetary capacity and allocation to EACC in order for it to be facilitated to administer and effectively implement the provisions of this particular act. That is the impact of the committee's recommendation on the reservations under Clause 6. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Cherage, will you be commenting on every clause? Okay, then let us also recognize that we are not debating, so you need to be brief. Please keep your comments in less than 3 minutes.
Mr. Chairperson, you know you are not also immune if this comes to law. It will disrupt our daily lives. Speaker, institute proceedings for forfeiture or undeclared or unexplained. Mr. Speaker, this recommendation is very unfortunate. Because, Mr. Speaker, we are aware, either by error or design or default, either by KRA or EACC, when they are doing inventory of your assets, they can leave it unexplained, Mr. Speaker. We are aware of cases where the authority, Mr. Speaker, I wish the two senators, Mr. Speaker, they are blocking you, yet the standing orders is very clear that there should be no one between you and the Speaker. The table office, what is happening? Senior counsel, he just chatted in. He should go and relax and recover from jet lag. So, Speaker, he should institute proceedings from forfeiture of unexplained or unexplained, and is the former chair of EACC, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you should be listening. You should be listening, senior counsel. You know you can be old, but you don't have a brain. Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying, institute proceedings, Mr. Speaker, for forfeiture and unexplained assets. Therefore, the question should be, if it is left out, Mr. Speaker, if it is left out, either by design, these unexplained assets, Mr. Speaker, you might lose your property, Mr. Speaker. So I think this amendment, I go with the proposal by the Committee of JLAC on this particular amendment to this memorandum by His Excellency the President. I rest my case, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mugeni.
Speaker, the only comment I wanted to make is let's deal with this clause very carefully. I've had the benefit of looking at all the anti-corruption agencies in Africa, including the most successful ones in Rwanda, the one in Botswana, the one in Ghana. You never mix declaration of assets with an anti-corruption commission. There is nowhere in Africa where that role is domiciled in an anti-corruption commission. So as we look at this amendment,